All right, today we're going to talk about something that could totally change the way you speak English. We're diving into a method that helps you speak faster and more fluently, all without that constant slow translation happening in your head. It's called the pattern recall method. You know that feeling, right? You're in a conversation, you know exactly what you want to say in your own language, but when you try to say it in English, your mind just goes blank. You freeze up. It's super common. But what if I told you the problem isn't your vocabulary or how many grammar rules you know? The real reason you freeze up is something called the speaking trap. So let's get into it. Let's look at what's really causing that frustration and figure out exactly why it happens. This right here really gets to the heart of it. A lot of us, when we're learning, we get stuck translating word by word by word. We're trying to build a sentence from scratch, digging for grammar rules. But fluent speakers, they just don't do that. They're not building, they're recalling, pulling up whole chunks of language that they already know work. And that's the whole problem. Your brain is trying to do way too many things at once. It's searching for the right word, checking the grammar, translating the meaning. It's just total cognitive overload. And when your brain gets overloaded like that, it freezes. It's as simple as that. Okay, so if that's the trap, how do you get out of it? Well, the answer is a pretty big shift in how you think about speaking. And this fluency secret? Yeah, it is all about patterns. So what in the world are language patterns? Just think of them as pre-made phrases, like building blocks for your sentences. They're reusable chunks of words that do a specific job, like kicking off your opinion, giving a reason, or throwing in an example. This is the big aha moment. The whole goal is to stop thinking about single individual words and start thinking in these bigger, ready-to-use chunks. You're shifting from trying to build a sentence to simply recalling a pattern. All right, so that's the theory. But what does this actually look like when you're speaking? Let's get practical. Let's start building your very own pattern toolkit. These are the real tools you're going to use. First up, let's talk about opinion patterns. So instead of just saying I think over and over again, you've got this whole menu of other options. Using a phrase like the way I see it or I tend to think that sounds way more natural, and here's the bonus, it buys you a split second to organize the rest of your thought. Okay, so after you give your opinion, you gotta back it up, right? That's where reason patterns come in. Phrases like, this is largely because, give you this smooth, logical bridge from your opinion straight into your explanation. Now, to really make your point stick, you need some proof, and example patterns are perfect for this. They let you just slide right into a specific case or a story. Think about using something like, a good example of this would be, or take something like, for instance. And finally, to wrap it all up and let everyone know you're done, you use a conclusion pattern. Something like, so overall, I'd say that. Just gives you a really clear, confident way to end your thought. So we have the tools now, but how do we actually put them together to build a great answer without freezing? Let's walk through it step by step. Okay, imagine you get asked this classic question, is social media a good or a bad thing? Now, instead of panicking and trying to find the perfect words, we're just going to reach for our new patterns. First things first, we are not starting from scratch. We just grab an opinion pattern from our toolkit, the way I see it, and then we just add our simple idea. And just like that, we're off to a great, confident start. Next up, we need a reason. So we just snap on a reason pattern, this is largely because, and connect it to our next thought. See how we're not thinking about grammar here? We're just linking these chunks. It's kind of like playing with Lego bricks. And we finish it off by adding our last two bricks, an example pattern to give some real evidence, and then a conclusion pattern to wrap it all up nicely. And boom, the result is a full, fluent, and really well-structured answer that we built without even breaking a sweat. So this gives you a super simple, repeatable, 4-step formula you can use for almost any question. Give your opinion, state your reason, provide an example, and offer a conclusion. This structure is like your safety net, so you never get lost in the middle of a sentence again. So how do you actually get good at this? Well, it's pretty simple. Don't try to memorize everything at once. And please, don't write out full model answers. Instead, just pick one single pattern and then practice using it to create a bunch of different short phrases for just one question. This is what builds that mental muscle of recalling, not translating. All right, let's bring it all home. If you remember only one thing from all of this, it should be this core idea, this fundamental shift in how you approach speaking English.
And this is the mantra that really sums it all up. The path to fluency isn't about knowing more single words. It's about having a toolkit of patterns that you can pull up instantly. When you do that, you free up all that mental energy so you can focus on what you want to say, not how you're going to say it. And that, my friends, is the real secret to speaking with confidence. So what's the first pattern you're going to go practice?